Macaroni and cheese. It's a perennial favorite among children and their parents alike across the United States. The #1 selling brand is Kraft Macaroni and Cheese, the one in the little blue box. And according to Diane Toops, the editor of Food Processing magazine, more than 1 million boxes are sold every day, and an average of 13 boxes are eaten every minute. That's quite a bit of macaroni and cheese. Now what's amazing about these figures is the quantity of yellow #5 and yellow #6, both artificial food dyes, that are also being consumed with this macaroni and cheese. Most consumers would probably not choose to ingest these chemicals if they are aware of the health hazards associated with them. They would probably be more selective about the foods they choose to eat and feed to their families. Therefore, all foods that contain artificial food dyes should come with warning labels, because consumers should be warned that artificial food dyes can cause allergies, hyperactivity, and various cancers. Now, many people suffer from allergic reactions, but what they may not know is that these allergic reactions may be linked to artificial food dyes. If we look at this chart right here, which is based on information from the Center of Science in the Public Interest, you'll see that these are the various food dyes that are common in today's foods, and these are the health hazards associated with those artificial food dyes. Now, in this first column, we have allergies. Red #40, yellow #6, and yellow #5 are the most common artificial food dyes that are associated with allergic reactions. Most people experience allergic reactions in the form of hives, rhinitis, and asthma attacks, ranging from mild to severe and even life-threatening. Because of the frequency of these allergic reactions, beginning in 1979, the FDA required that all artificial food dyes be listed on the ingredients of foods that contain them, so that people that had sensitivities to artificial food dyes could avoid these foods. But simply listing the artificial food dyes in the ingredient is not enough. Many consumers are not aware of the link between artificial food dyes and these allergic reactions. A warning label would be a more helpful alternative. Now we will look at the second health hazard associated with artificial food dyes. On this chart, we'll see it as hyperactivity, and red #40 and yellow #5 are the two dyes that are associated with hyperactivity. I'd like to point out that red 40 is the most common artificial food dye used today. There have been many studies linking hyperactivity to artificial food dyes. One study conducted at the Melbourne University of Australia concluded that yellow #5 caused irritability, sleep disturbances, and behavioral problems in 150 out of the 200 children tested. Another study was a double-blind study commissioned by the UK Food Safety Authority in 2007 that tested 300 children and found that artificial food dyes caused hyperactivity and attention disorders. This study was important because in 2010, the European Union made its decision to impose labeling regulations on foods containing artificial food dyes based on this study. The new labeling regulation requires that foods with artificial food dyes come with warning labels. Now we come to the third and the most alarming health hazard associated with artificial food dyes, and that's cancer. And you'll see here that there is a lot of red. All of the artificial food dyes have shown to cause cancers in various laboratory animals. For example, blue #1 has shown to cause kidney tumors, red #40 immune system tumors, blue #2 brain tumors, and so on. Now, to begin with, some artificial food dyes are contaminated with carcinogenic chemicals, such as benzidine, which is used during the manufacturing process. According to the Center for Science in the Public Interest, the FDA allows 1 part per billion of these carcinogenic chemicals to be present in these foods that have artificial food dyes. This limit was based on usage during the 1990s, but the usage of artificial food dyes has increased by 50% since then. Also, the FDA does not take into account that children are more sensitive to carcinogens, and also that they consume more artificial food dyes per pound of body weight than adults do. Many artificial food dyes, such as yellow #5 and yellow #6, are azo dyes. Azo dyes are derived from coal tar or petroleum. A study by Yahagi confirms that azo dyes are carcinogenic and cause mutations in DNA. The FDA itself has recognized that some artificial food dyes are carcinogenic, and for example, in 1990, it banned red number 3 from the use in cosmetics. Unfortunately, red number 3 is still being used today in candies, bakery goods, and canned goods. In fact, maraschino cherries get their bright red color from red number 3. In conclusion, I presented a lot of information in regards to the little-known dangers of artificial food dyes. I say little-known dangers because the consumption of these artificial food dyes has increased dramatically in the last few decades, yet few consumers are aware of the health hazards associated with them. Consumers deserve to know the health hazards so that they may protect themselves and their families. Therefore, it is imperative that all foods containing artificial food dyes come with warning labels, because consumers should be warned that artificial food dyes can cause allergies, hyperactivity, and cancers. Does anyone have any questions?
Yes, question. Why would the food industry use artificial food dyes that may pose health risks instead of using natural alternatives?
Well, the reason is that artificial food dyes are more consistent, stable, and vibrant. But if we were to adopt labeling regulations and require warning labels on all foods that have artificial food dyes, then the food industry would probably begin to start using natural alternatives as they have done in Europe. Any other questions?
Yes. Which dyes is the European Union requiring to have warning labels?
There are 6 dyes, and they are red number 3, red number 8, red number 40, yellow number 5, yellow number 6, and yellow number 10.